I'm taking you behind the scenes onto my one-to-one client process. I'm sharing with you exactly what it looks like for someone to apply working with me, the questions I ask them, the process we go through there, to what it looks like to actually work with a client and how I make sure they get incredible results and the process I utilize there. So I'm going to be sharing with you a full behind the scenes of this program that has made almost $250,000 cash and worked with literally hundreds of clients at this point inside this program. And I'm going to be sharing all of it with you today. This is a process that has been refined over the years. I first launched this program about 4 years ago now and had my very first clients inside of this program. And since then I've been refining the process, really adapting what it looks like and shifting a few different things to get the best possible process for a high ticket one-to-one program like this, and to get the best possible client results inside of this as well. An incredible client retention rate of clients staying for literally years working with me and jumping back into this program years later as well. If you have a high ticket program, if you have a one-to-one program, if you are just looking to improve your process behind the scenes of what it looks like for you to actually work with your clients, this is going to be a full behind the scenes on what I do, what it looks like for me, and some nuggets that you can take away to put into your own process as well. So I wanted to specifically record this video because a lot of the times we don't really see behind the scenes of programs like this. We'll see the front end, we'll see what people are talking about, but unless you've actually been through the program, you haven't necessarily seen what it really looks like, what we really focus on, what I specifically implement to make sure my clients are getting results. And I wanted to share some of those things because they are such game changers and I've really seen them create huge shifts for my clients and just create a really supportive program that they want to stay in for years and that they get incredible results. So the very first thing I have for this program, which a lot of people do not have for one-to-one programs, and I actually think it can be really, really helpful, is I have a one-to-one coaching website page. I have a full page on my website dedicated towards one-to-one coaching. And I know a lot of people for specifically one-to-one programs will say, oh, I don't really need a sales page. I don't really need a page for this because it's personalized to every person. It's unique to every person and all of those things. And yes, that's true. And also the reason the program has sold really well, the reason why I've had clients for literally years inside this program is because there is a really specific, clear umbrella transformation of what people are getting inside this program. And also I have a clear process, which I share, that I take people through as well. So this, having a page for this really allows me to actually go through this in detail and actually share all of these pieces and make it really easy for someone to sign up and want to work with me. So inside this page, I specifically talk about the intention of what we're going to be achieving together, what we're going to be focusing on, and also how we're going to be doing that. So I share a lot of different statements around that. I'll share a lot of the previous client results as well. I'll share just really who this is for right now. So really speaking to the person who is, really trying to do all the things, really busy in their business. It's feeling kind of overwhelming. And also they've capped themselves out with their income. So they're really wanting to increase the income, but not increase the hours and the time that they're needing to spend on this. They're wanting to do it in a really simple way and actually build a business that is really sustainable and really consistent at the same time, which is something a lot of programs just don't really cover and don't really talk about. So this is really the standout piece for my work, is actually building a business that is really sustainable, really can last years versus just a strategy that you need to change up in 6 months' time. So I'll share a lot of that. I share about the client results. I have a lot of different client testimonial videos as well on here, some success stories, and also I share about my story as well. And the really important part that I wanted to talk about here is the here's how section. So I talk about what does it actually look like to work with me, aka what is the framework behind my one-to-one coaching? Because yes, your program is personalized and it's unique to every person. And also that doesn't really tell anyone about what they're going to get inside this program. So having just a even loose framework that you're going to be following with clients is such a game changer for just helping them to see what it's going to look like to work with you. So the 3 pillars that I will always work on with my clients are pillar number 1, simplifying your business. And pillar number 2, reaching your next income level and doing this consistently, aka not just having one really great month, but actually stepping up your income consistently. And then the third piece is really building a freedom-filled business. So that first pillar of really streamlining your entire business is about streamlining your offers, your marketing, your systems, your schedules. Everything is just really, really manageable and is just designed to be as simple as possible. And the reason why I have this as the very first pillar is that a lot of my clients, when they come to work with me, me, business is feeling a little bit bloated. It's feeling a little bit heavy. There's just a lot of things going on. There's a lot of moving pieces and there's just a lot of things on their brain essentially. And we are really in a place where actually, especially if we're a solopreneur, we have a limited number of hours, right? And we're wanting to increase our income, but we're already doing so many things that we don't even have the space and the time to do the things that are actually going to grow your income and actually going to get you moving forward. So the very first thing we want to do is simplify. Look at what can we cut, what do we need to do less of, where do we actually need to focus, what's actually moving you forward, and essentially just shift the priorities in your business of where is time and energy going. If you're posting some content, for example, which is not getting you anything, not getting any clients, not moving you forward, that is something we can cut, or we can shift how we do that. If we are wasting so much time on some certain area while we're actually really wanting to grow, but that's not getting us growth, okay, we need to shift how we're doing this. So this is really the first piece of just making sure that you're actually spending time on the areas which are moving you forward. This is just working smarter. This is just getting more intentional with where your time and energy is going. And this is the thing which firstly creates a lot of freedom for you. Secondly, gives you the space to do the growth part, because so many people will say, I want to grow, and then they just do more to do that. And then they get really overwhelmed because they're suddenly adding loads to their calendar. The second pillar then is about really increasing your income level and actually getting it here consistently. So this is up leveling your income. And one of the ways we do this is through really stacking out your income. So really not just relying on one-off small sales, but actually building something that's just stackable, and we're able to retain clients and just stack the income on top of this versus constantly needing to replace, constantly starting from zero and being in that cycle. Actually building something which is really, really sustainable for you and just taking you to a different income level. A huge part of this is obviously your sales process, how you're selling, how you're getting clients, and just building the consistency around this so sales actually feel reliable and you've got that consistency, but also we're increasing this income at the same time, but we're not doing it with a crash and burn, you're gonna have one really great month. We're doing it really consistently. So that's the second pillar we'll work on. And then the third pillar is actually building a freedom-filled business. So this is the kind of cherry on top of everything. This is actually how do we align your business with your overall vision. So you're building something really intentional, something which is going to be long-term, something which is actually gonna give you the life that you started this business for in the first place, something which gives you stability and just creates the business that you want at the end of the day versus us being in the day-to-day hustle of how can we make more for the sake of making more. This is actually about how can we be really intentional with where your time and energy is going. And this looks like a lot of the foundational work as well within the business. So you can really see with these three pillars, they are three very separate areas that we'll work on together, but they are all linked together and they all lead to the overall mission of actually helping someone to build a really simple lifestyle business that really does work for them. That is the overall goal, and these three pillars are the how of how we get there. And you can really get a taste of my work then just by looking through these three pillars, and someone can just look through this page on my website and really get a feel for what it looks like to actually work with me. The reason why I love having this specific website page for my one-to-one is it works so well in the process because it means that someone has a really good idea of what it looks like to work with me before they've even spoken with me. They don't need to have a conversation with me and ask, hey, what do you do inside your one-to-one coaching? What does it look like to do one-to-one coach with you? You know, what will we do together? What will we work on? Can we work on this? Like all of those questions are answered from that webpage. So it makes it really, really easy for someone to get a taste of what it looks like working with me without needing to have any interaction with me to specifically do that. Of course, they can message me and ask me any questions, but this answers a good number of their questions and can really give you a feel for the experience of working with me as well. So I really love having this webpage as just the first point of call and where I can really just direct people because it's able to filter out the right people essentially. And then after that, there is buttons all over that webpage of book a discovery call with me. So I have opted between, in different phases of business, application form or discovery call. So I don't necessarily have a personal preference. I think it's really depends on what season you're in and what your focus is right now, all of those different things. But for me personally at the moment, I have a discovery call. So you click on that link and then you go straight to my discovery call form. And this essentially gets you to book in a time into my calendar, and then at the same time gives you a form to fill out, which just tells me some really helpful information about you. So This is coming from, again, knowing this is coming from the webpage, knowing people have read through that webpage first is really helpful because they've got all of that information that they need. They kind of know what it looks like to work with me already. So I'm able to really just affirm some of those things with those questions. So the questions I'll then ask is obviously about their business name, their Instagram handle, just their details of who are they essentially, this person that is applying for this. I'll get their email as well, just by them default booking this in. Then the actual detailed questions I ask is, firstly, what is their business? What offers do they have? And how much has their average monthly income been in the last 6 months? This is really helpful to obviously see, A, how consistent is this income is one thing that I can see already. And is this something they're wanting to work on? What is their income level at the moment? Because I can see straight away then if they are potentially a good fit for one-to-one or not. And also, what do their offers look like? Because this really can signify if they are the ideal client for this, because the ideal client for this typically has a few different offers. It's feeling a bit scattered. There's not really one big standout success essentially in this at the moment, or they have one standout success, but it's not the offer they're wanting it to be. And their monthly income is a little bit up and down. It's not feeling super reliable for them. So this can kind of answer that and tell me if they are the ideal client there. The second question I'll ask is, what are your biggest challenges and blocks right now in growing your business that you'd want to work on with Lauren? So with this, I'm just asking them what are their biggest sticking points? What for them is the most present thing that they are wanting to work on? And this is helpful for seeing what is just top of mind for them right now. What is the big thing of essentially, if we could work on this and if we could solve this problem for you, we would be really happy. Anything else is just icing on the cake. We'd be really, really happy with this. So that can be a really great question to ask as well. The third part I will ask is, why now? So why are you looking to get support and coaching in your business at this moment in particular? This is really helpful for seeing their motivations, because if their motivation is that, I'm really panicky, I don't know how I'm gonna pay bills next month. If that's the motivation, this is not the place. This is not the investment, because this is about sustainability, long-term support here. And it's about something which is really going to get you growing, but it's not from that panic situation. If you are in the stage of saying, you know what, I'm really frustrated in my business right now because I have offers that I don't really want to have, the income's been really up and down, that's a good fit for this program. And I can then really see what is the motivation behind someone actually applying for this essentially. The fourth question then is, where would you love your business to be in the next 6 months? So this is obviously a really helpful question for seeing what are people's visions? Where do they really want to go? And again, I can see if this is aligned with the 3 pillars we're going to be working on together and what we're actually going to be shifting their business towards and just the direction my coaching does take with them. And then the final question I'll ask is, what attracted you to the idea of working one-to-one with me personally? This is such a good question to add because it can really help you to see what is it that really attracted them firstly. So was it a certain piece of content you posted? Was it a certain thing you said? What is it about you that they really want to work with? And also it's really helpful to see just what did they connect over? Was it the sustainability aspect, for example, of my program? Was it the fact of building consistent income? Was it the fact of really simplifying things? What was it that they really connected with? Because then I know really where to focus in our time together as well. So then at this point, someone has filled in the form, they've gone through the website page, they know all the details there. We'll have our discovery call and I'll just ask them more detailed questions essentially on all of these pieces and really just get to know. And essentially I'm qualifying them to see if they are really a good fit for one-to-one together, because this is a really special program and I really uphold my client results and want to make sure the right people are always coming to this program that I can really get results and just really make shifts for. So we'll have our discovery call, and then if they get accepted as a client, we will then start working together. And one of the things which I will always do with my clients, and I think this is a golden piece of that process of one-to-one, which works so well, is having a monthly check-in form. So essentially in this form, I will be checking in every single month and asking them the questions of what is their focus right now, aka what are they wanting us to work on over the next 30 days? What is feeling top of mind for you? What is the thing which is just on your mind at the moment? Because I think as entrepreneurs, we always have something all the time which is just top of mind, of whether it is, okay, how am I going to fill this program? What am I going to do this next masterclass on? I'm really ideating this program right now, whatever it is. But what is most top of mind for you right now? So I know exactly where we're going to be focusing over the next 30 days of work together. And again, I'm asking this every 30 days. We're constantly checking in with what is your focus focus? What is your intention in this specific season of your business? And I will also check in as well with how many hours have they worked on average and what is their monthly income at the moment, because this is really helpful for me as well, and for reflecting back to them of just seeing that growth and seeing that progress of actually the income going up, getting more consistent, and the hours worked going down at the same time, which tends to be what happens with my clients. So it's really helpful to just see that progress and be able to track that as well. And also it means for me, as I'm sharing client results, as I'm sharing success stories, I have all of that information as well. Now, a couple other questions I'll ask in here that I think are just a really important part of the process as well is, firstly, what are some wins that they've had over the last month, no matter how small, because no matter what season you're in business, it's so helpful and important to actually just recognize some of those wins, some of that progress you've made. And then also following on from that, why did things turn out the way they did? No judgment whatsoever, but just observation, because it's really helpful for us to see that, you know what, last month it was a lower month in business, for example, but it was because I was completely changing about my offers and I'd closed down this program and I was still working on this new program, etc. It's really helpful for us to just actually figure out what is the real reasoning behind that and what is just the logical answer behind that before placing any emotion on that and saying, oh my gosh, it was a lower month, I should panic because that. It's like, no, it wasn't actually. It was a lower month just because we were rearranging a lot of things and we'd intended it to be a lower month. We went in planning that this was going to be the case because you weren't going to be selling anything, etc. So it's really helpful from a client perspective to actually just talk through that of essentially we're bringing to mind, okay, what has happened over the last month, reflecting back, and how are we feeling about that right now? Why did this turn out the way that this did? Good or bad? If we had a huge success, what was responsible for this huge success? It was because we really promoted that masterclass, whatever it is. But then also looking forward as well and seeing where are we wanting to focus is so, so helpful. And this is such a big key role of my client process when we're actually working together. And I think this is absolutely golden. I would recommend anyone to do this with clients, of send a monthly form out, because this means that we're able to constantly say, on check with what they're wanting, essentially, because it is so weird to assume that, you know, someone who I started working with 4 months ago and the goals they told me they have 4 months ago are still going to be the exact same today, and we should be working on the exact same things. Actually just constantly checking in with just what is top of mind for you, what are you focusing on right now, what have been the wins, how have things been looking for you at the moment, is so helpful to just have that intentional check-in moment and make sure we are constantly staying focused with what you're wanting to achieve and what you're wanting to work on over the next month as well. And this means, especially for longer term programs, they stay intentional, because I think one of the biggest problems and pitfalls almost with a 6-month program, for example, is it's really easy to get to 4 months in and for someone to say, okay, well, I feel like we've kind of drifted off a little bit here. We're not really working on the thing that I want to be working on right now, and it doesn't feel as helpful, essentially. And then they don't re-sign at all. And we have a really high churn rate with clients. But actually, from someone who has had a program with, you know, a really high client re-sign rate, actually one thing that I think really does contribute to that is having this process specifically. And that's why I, again, wanted to walk through this in the video today, of a process where we're able to really clearly check in with what the client's needing, and we're able to make sure that we are really focused every single month. And that just creates a lot of intention around the container as well. And this is what then dictates what we're talking about on our calls, what we're talking about in the messenger support between these, the modules I'm telling them to go and watch. This is what dictates that, what we're actually talking about on that monthly form. That is the anchor to all of those pieces, and it keeps it really grounded. It keeps it still completely personalized to the person, but it also means that we're being really focused in terms of what we're doing together. So that is the process behind my one-to-one coaching program. That is the behind the scenes of what it looks like before people start working with me, and then when we're actually working together, and the parts of the process that I think make the biggest difference towards getting the right fit clients and getting people signing up for that, and then actually working with them and getting them the best results possible and having a really incredible re-sign rate. So take notes on these, add these to your own program, and really just use them in your own process if you're wanting to, of, you know, improving this so you can really improve your program overall and make this something which can be a really sustainable part of your business. Now, as we're talking about my one-to-one program, I wanted to let you know that I have spaces opening very, very soon. So I would love to work with you inside one-to-one. If you would like to see the webpage that I have been referencing throughout this video, you can go to the link in the description and look through there and read through exactly what I was talking about in this video. And also you can schedule a discovery call with me to talk about working together. If you are at all interested in growing your business to something which is really a simple lifestyle business, gives you a whole lot of freedom, gives you really consistent income, and is just something sustainable that you can build up, which becomes your career. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you have watched to the very end of this video, I would love you to drop a pen emoji down below, because obviously we're, writing out a few different things here in terms of the process of the forms, the web pages, all those. So drop a pen emoji if you have watched to the full end of this video. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss new videos every single Monday, and I will see you in the next one.